it's been a while, so I thought we could do a bookish day in my life. I'm having the day off and I just want to do all things book related, and I love reading. It's such a big hobby of mine, so that is what we're going to do today, and I'm going to take you along with me. And I wanted to start with a reading update. So I'm currently reading Heir of Fire and I'm almost done. I just have like 25 pages left about. So I'm really excited to see where things will go. I'm curious. I'm going to read for a bit and then I will give you my review and my star rating. Later we're going to do some book shopping. Also wanted to look at some Goodreads stats with you because I love those details. I always love to look at others, at my friends or at my sister's accounts. So that is what we're going to do today, and I ordered some books too, and I will be picking up that package today, so I'm so excited to show you what books I got. But first, let's read a bit more. Okay, I'm finished. I need to think about it. I really have to sit with my thoughts for a while before I can come back to you and discuss my thoughts on this book. Oh my god. I just want to keep reading. I want to read the next book, like right now. Oh. Okay, I will report back to you in a bit. Let me sit on this for just a second. Okay, so I thought a little bit about this book and I decided to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Me and my family rate books based on a scale of 1 to 10, but for everyone else this would be like a 4 star. I really like this, but I came to realize I prefer the chapters with Selena. I really like those chapters. The chapters about the witches I did like, but I just prefer the chapters with Selena and Rowan. I really like their dynamic. And in the end, I was kind of in shock, but I really liked it so much. I'm really curious to continue the series. I didn't read the first 3 books because I wanted to get a little taste of the series, and on basis of that, I wanted to read them. But I really like this one. I also really like the first 2 books, so I read it in the order of The Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and now Heir of Fire, and I'm so excited to continue the series. I'm so happy I started with The Assassin's Blade because it gave me some good insights of Selena's past, and I really liked that. And it made her a more rounded character, which I also really liked. And it was more of a whole story. I got a better view of how she was like a person. So I'm really happy I read this book. And I mean, this was kind of big, but the next one is going to be even longer, and I'm really happy with that. Let's talk about Goodreads stats. I set my goal for this year for 10 books. I mean, 10 is not much for other people. Maybe it's much for you. It's even good if you only read one book this far into the year, but I set my goal to 10 books this year, and this was the 15th book I read. So I completed the challenge. Last year I read 18 books, and the year before that I read 16. So I'm going so good right now. I'm reading so much. 15 books is kind of a lot for me, and I'm also reading quite long books, but I'm really proud of that, and it's just fun to document. What are your reading goals? What is your Goodreads goal? Please let me know, because I'm really excited to talk about it. I'm also really excited to talk about books in general, and I would love for you to comment something book related down below so we can chat about that, because I only have my family to talk about books. So I would love to grow a little community to talk about my books, so I don't have to continuously yap about them and rant about my book opinions to my family. But okay, so I read 15 books this year so far. I'm currently also reading War and Peace, or I started it at the beginning of the year. I got about 300 pages in, but I just didn't continue it. I was in the process of moving, and then I never picked it up, and I kind of had a hard time reading it. Whereas Anna Karenina, I had so much fun reading it, and it really gripped me and had me hooked in, but I'm not getting that feeling with War and Peace. So at the moment I'm not picking that up, because I want to have a fun time reading. If I'm not going to enjoy it, I won't read it. So I think it's not the time for me to read War and Peace right now, but maybe into the future. I completed one series, and that is ACOTAR. That really got me into Sarah J Maas, and I'm so glad I read it. At first I heard about ACOTAR and I thought, okay, that's not my vibe. That's not my vibe, and I started getting back into reading because I had to read some English books for school, and that is how I got back into reading. My sister was reading at that time quite a lot, but I didn't read at that time, and I didn't read anything at that time. But I used to be a big reader. I used to devour books at such a high speed. It's really intense if you think about it, because we went to the library once a week. We only could loan 8 books, and then we had to go back the next week because I finished my books, and I also finished the books of my sisters. We read each other's books after we finished our own picks, and it's so funny to think about it. But then we all stopped reading for quite a while, and then we slowly got back into it. So now me and my sisters are reading so much like we used to do. So that was so fun. But this year I started with the series ACOTAR, and I'm so happy I found my love for fantasy again. I read some fantasy last year. I read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I really liked that so much. I'm so sad the series isn't finished. And I read Starless Sea, which I also really liked. I read the second book in the Outlander series, but I won't continue it because I felt like it was so dragged out, and I really liked the beginning, but then the war part I really didn't like. And I read The Enchanted Sonata, which was also kind of fantasy middle grade, which was also just such a fun time. But this year I really got back into fantasy. So I read the whole ACOTAR series. I loved it. My favorites are A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Silver Flames. My two favorites, but I love the series as a whole. Then I also read Nevermore, that's a middle grade, also kind of fantasy, which was really nice and cute. I read Lies We Sing to the Sea, which is a Greek mythology retelling, which was nice and something different. I definitely want to read more of those books, and I know that Madeline Miller has some of those, so I'm intrigued to read some more of those. Then I read Entwined, which was so nice and fun. It's basically a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and in my mind I go immediately to the Barbie movie. Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses is definitely my favorite. Then I read The Fifth Season, which is more like sci-fi fantasy. I thought it was good, but it wasn't up my alley. It wasn't like my whole vibe. I'm not really a sci-fi reader, but I liked it. And then I started on my birthday The Assassin's Blade, which is about 5 weeks ago. So I read that. And other books I read this year are The Great Gatsby. I thought it was okay. In my opinion, it was a little bit overhyped. And I also read Journey by Moonlight, which is an Hungarian classic. I like to read from different countries. This was my pick for Hungary, and I got so confused whilst reading this. But it was okay, but I just got so confused and it was kind of all over the place. But I got to tick off Hungary for my Reading Around the World challenge, which is inspired by Emmy. Emma of the ebook channel. Emmy, I really like her videos, and I'm happy that I read from another country, but I just got finished with the 4th book of the Throne of Glass series, and I cannot wait to read the next one. My package of books is coming. The next one is it, and some more books that I really want to show you, but I'm loving her books so much. I'm having so much fun, and I can really picture everything, which I love. I love the descriptions, I love the characters, and that is how it's going so far, and that is how my Goodreads challenge is going. What are your Goodreads challenges, and what is your favorite book? Please let me know, because I love to talk about books. I talk about books constantly to my family. They all go crazy about it. Some books on my TBR, high on my TBR. The first is When the Moon Hatched. It's another fantasy novel. It's quite long, which I really like, and it's about fae, magic, dragons, and I'm really excited to get that. And another one that is high on my TBR, I haven't purchased it, is Sunburn, and I'm not sure by who it is, but I found this channel. I think she is called Katrina. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that, but I found her channel and she had some recommendations, some summer book recommendations, and Sunburn sounds so up my alley. It's a literary fiction, I think, about summer, about intense female friendships, which I love to explore and discover more about and read about. And and I'm really excited to see how she explored that topics. I will update you in a bit when I picked up a new book and when I do some bookish stuff. As I told you before, I ordered some books. This is just one order, but I got 2 packages and I'm so excited and I really want to show you them. So let's unbox it. The first package, okay, I think this holds 2 books, and ordered the 2 books, the next 2 books in the Throne of Glass series. I just finished it, the 4th book, Heir of Fire, this morning. I really wanted to continue. I ordered it Sunday and I really wanted to start reading this, and I thought, okay, let's purchase the next book so I can keep going. And I mean, look how beautiful these are. I really love the cover designs and I really like how the spines all have the different colors and it's going to look so nice. Okay, I break the spine of my books. I know, it's so bad, but I just do. But I'm so excited to read this and I'm going to share my thoughts on these when I start reading them. This book I ordered is the next book in the series. I had to purchase a certain amount of money to get free shipping. So I thought, okay, or I can buy the book and spend a little bit more, or I have to pay shipping, which is like the half of this book, and I didn't want that. So I now got the next 3 books in the series. So excited, so happy and curious to read this series, and I am really intrigued to see where things will go. I have a feeling there are going to be so much plot twists, so I'm really excited to see that. And this afternoon and evening I'm going to read of my Dark Academia chapters. I mentioned to someone I love dearly that I really wanted to have a Dark Academia book, and this person is now writing one for me. And I'm reading the draft. I'm reading the chapters one by one. I get a couple sent to me and then I read them and I love it. It's so special and I'm really loving the vibe. I mean, the weather is so rainy here, so it totally fits the vibe and the aesthetic of the Dark Academia book. And I just love Dark Academia books with secret societies, a hint of magic. I love magical books and magical elements in books. So I'm really enjoying this and it feels so special to have a book like that written for me. And I definitely want to share more about that book because I know you guys will love it as much as I do. I'm hoping I can share more about this one in the future because everyone loves Dark Academia books, and if you do so, then you're going to love this book. But I'm going to read a chapter or 2 of that. I'm going to start Queen of Shadows, the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series. Okay, a little reading update. I'm about 60 pages in. I'm loving the setup of the story. I think it's done very well with how it continues from the previous book to this one, and I'm loving just the setup, and I'm very interested to read a bit more. I'm already immersed into this universe, which I really like. I really like Lyn or Selena. I'm not sure how to call her right now, but I really like her. I just like her personality. I kind of adore how she is. She is just so cool and she's so funny, I think. But I love the story, but still need to get into it a little bit more. I just saw here is a chapter about the witches. I still don't know how to feel about that plot line, but that's fine. Really interested to see how the story will progress over time, so I'm already having so much fun. I will update you in the next video about the book and about how I'm going with this series. I hope you enjoyed watching a bookish day in my life. I really love reading. I'm so passionate about reading, and I love having conversations about books and reading and all the bookish things. So I hope you enjoyed hearing that, and I would love for you to comment something, maybe a book recommendation or just a bookish emoji or your bookish thoughts about this series. I see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.